At an Istanbul airport, passers-by couldn't help but raise their eyebrows as Logar strolled past, bearing an uncanny resemblance to a stereotypical sci-fi villain. He rendezvoused with his peculiar-looking assistant, setting the stage for their sinister plotting. Meanwhile, in the town, Arif, a carpet merchant, was settling into domestic life with his wife, Ceku, who, in a past life, had been an alien princess. Expecting a child, Arif daydreamed about their offspring inheriting his features. Ceku, however, harbored dreams of the child visiting her home planet upon birth, but an impulsive decision had led Arif to part with her spaceship for quick cash. Desperate to right this wrong, he scoured the town, only to discover the scrap dealer had vanished. In a twist of fate, Arif encountered a purveyor of illicit blue substances. As he made this questionable purchase, a sense of foreboding struck him, and he hastened back to his shop, where he was greeted by the sight of suspicious individuals entering his premises. Bracing for a confrontation, Arif activated a latent ability, causing him to levitate, only to have his display of power interrupted by a nosy neighbor. After hastily escorting the intruder out, Arif was taken aback to hear that his arch-nemesis, Logar, had returned, not to wreak havoc, but to extend an olive branch in the form of his spaceship as a token of apology. Touched by this unexpected gesture, Arif forgave Logar for his past transgressions. Following a meal with Ceku, Logar entices Arif to an abandoned city outskirts factory, where a blinding light incapacitates Arif. Regaining consciousness, Arif finds him captive in a peculiar machine, realizing that the promised spaceship was a sham. Logar's true objective was to seize Ceku. Logar then adopts Arif's identity, altering his appearance with a haircut and fake mustache and disguising his voice. He activates the odd contraption, hurling Arif back 1,000,000 years in time. Initially unfazed, Arif attempts to contact his wife but connects with an unrelated establishment due to a poor signal. As he searches for a better signal, Arif encounters dinosaurs, grasping the gravity of his predicament. Lost and uncertain, he stumbles upon 3 apes and endeavors to educate them in hopes of their evolution and the construction of a return device. Days pass, but his teaching efforts yield meager results. As winter takes hold, Arif faces an unusual predicament. His urine freezes instantly, inspiring him to craft ornate sculptures from the ice. With the advent of spring, a formidable beard adorns his face, prompting him to fashion a makeshift razor from sticks for a trim. Despite his persistent efforts, the apes he mentors show little progress. Consequently, Arif decides to part ways with them in search of a more advanced civilization. Just as he departs, a mysterious black monolith descends from the sky and lands near the apes, reminiscent of the iconic Space Odyssey. Meanwhile, Arif journeys through the forest, ignoring the creatures he encounters. However, a chance encounter with a bellowing T-Rex reveals it to be a protective mother guarding her eggs. Contemplating parenthood, Arif wisely withdraws, earning the gratitude of the T-Rex, which gifts him a substantial honeycomb. Arif indulges in the honey, only to find that the prehistoric bees are colossal. Amid a chaotic encounter with one of these giant bees, Arif seeks refuge behind a tree and spots a group of cavemen. They use a tranquilizer dart to render him unconscious. After some time, Arif regains consciousness within a cave, encircled by numerous cavemen engaged in an enigmatic ritual. Dimi, the tribe leader, and his daughter Mimi suspect Arif of spying for the Eronians and demand his expulsion. Arif desperately tries to explain his time travel origins, but their conversation is disrupted by Crow, leader of the Eronians and his oppressive crew. The Eronians have long oppressed Dimi's tribe, plundering their resources and stifling innovation. Crow selects 3 men, including Arif, for an unusual ritual, but Arif resists. The Eronians subdue him with a tranquilizer. During their journey, Stony gets injured. Arif intervenes and fashions a makeshift cast, earning Stony's gratitude, but still forced to march with the other prisoners. In the village, Stony reunites with his father, Kaya, the Eronians' leader. Kaya scolds Stony for his artistic pursuits, assigning him to oversee slave suffering. Kaya and Crow plan a towering structure inspired by a cave painting depicting cavemen visited by enigmatic spacemen. Kaya believes this will reach heaven. They decree the three captives must ascend the tower to locate Sandy, who once exchanged gifts with the spacemen, including manure for a ball, and died pursuing their spaceship, shaping Kaya's aversion to technology. A heroic opportunity emerged, one never survived before. Arif, astonishingly, stepped forward, boldly declaring it easy. Ascending with calculated care, he danced with danger, yet always regained his footing. At the tower's peak, he encountered a man who professed life's futility, tragically plummeting upon Arif's approach. Clinging to the edge, Arif extended a cigarette as a calming gesture, but the man's final grasp attempt resulted in his fall. Arif's descent astounded all. Queries about Sandy led to the discovery of another worker's lifeless body, disappointing Kaya, who demanded the tower's height increase. Crow acknowledged Arif's feat with unlimited provisions. Stoney sought Arif's consent to craft a stone portrait, revealing his secret art collection. Arif encouraged Stoney to sign his works for future historians, and in this exchange, Arif uncovered Stoney's forbidden love for Mimi, a member of another tribe, evidenced by a dedicated tattoo. To lift Stoney's spirits, Arif plays a romantic tune on his phone, inadvertently evoking his memories of his wife. Arif beseeches Stoney for help in retrieving the tools and gadgets seized by Kaya, promising to assist Stoney in courting Mimi in return. Under the cover of the evening, they stealthily enter a concealed cave where Kaya hoards the confiscated items, including a VHS player. Their search, however, is abruptly interrupted by Crow, who escorts them to Kaya. Arif offers the excuse that they merely intended to add his phone to the collection, saving them from punishment. Yet Kaya insists it's time for Stoney to initiate a family, having already chosen a prospective bride. Disgusted, Stoney rejects the arranged match and opts to leave the village. Enraged, Kaya banishes Arif for defending his son. Arif and Stoney journey together until they chance upon Mimi and her friends bathing in a river. Arif provides Stoney with tips on how to engage with women, emboldening him to offer flowers to Mimi, who responds with aggression due to their conflicting tribal loyalties. Arif intervenes, unveiling his tattoo, yet Mimi remains unimpressed. To win her over, Arif offers to shoulder the women's furs. On the journey back to the village, Mimi and Stoney strike up a conversation, with Stoney impressing everyone by playing the flute. Upon reaching the village, Stoney's allegiance to Dimmy is demonstrated, and Arif persuades them to allow their stay by proposing the establishment of a new civilization free from restrictions. Arif delivers a compelling speech that garners the village's widespread support. Encouraged by Arif's promise of artistic freedom, Mimi and Stoney guide the children in mural painting, fostering camaraderie. Meanwhile, Arif imparts knowledge on shaving to the men. That evening, Arif and Stoney return to the secret cave, and their tree costumes nearly arouse suspicion in a young guard. Arif cunningly assigns him a task, enabling their access to the cave for a thieving endeavor. The following morning, they return to the village with a cart brimming with gadgets. Over the ensuing weeks, Arif instructs the villagers in various inventions and civilized practices, encompassing flour milling, cooking, trap crafting, oven and water canal construction, children's education, pottery, musical instruments, and adornments. As days passed, Mimi and Stoney continued to grow closer, transforming the village into a picturesque haven with the addition of a water fountain. However, Arif's impatience grew as the progress wasn't swift enough to construct a time machine. To soothe his frustrations, a villager introduced him to a newly invented alcohol. One evening, during a celebration, Arif distributed mints, but mistakenly consumed some naughty blue medicine. To resist infidelity to Ceku, he attempted distraction, but even whimsical vegetables triggered reminders of his longing. In a moment of desperation, he spent the night with an ape. The following day, Crow arrived for his routine inspection, and astounded by the village's innovations, shot a dart at Arif. Stoney heroically extracted the poison, and Arif publicly humiliated Crow. Enraged, Crow vowed to return with an army. Later, while Arif, Stoney, Mimi and the children were on a picnic. They returned to discover the Eronians had pillaged the village, leaving only ashes behind. Fed up with the Eronians, the villagers opt for a different approach to settle the dispute. Arif, recalling his encounter with enraged soccer hooligans, devises an alternative to war. He proposes a 6-man soccer match to Kaya, confident in his modern expertise. The wager: Arif's team wins. Kaya returns the stolen items and ceases further trouble. If Kaya's team prevails, Arif commits to completing the tower. Surprisingly, Kaya reveals the Eronians' long-standing tradition of ball games to honor Sandy's memory, boasting 6 formidable players, including one kept in a cage. Disheartened, Arif returns to the village, discovering Kuhara as the sole soccer-savvy individual, though the elder declines due to conceding 8 goals in one match. Dimmy steps in as the goalkeeper. Mimi handles the uniforms, while Arif and Stony assume forward striker roles. 3 villagers are recruited to complete the team. Arif embarks on intensive training, molding the once awkward cavemen into adept players who can precisely control the ball. Arif imparts the art of spirited supporting chants to the entire village. The eagerly awaited day arrives, with the Eronians resorting to magical interference by sending a witch to shrink their goal. As the match commences amid blazing flames, the Eronians swiftly assert dominance, scoring multiple goals and employing unsavory tactics. With Crow as the biased referee, their plight seems dire. However, a fortuitous misstep by the opposing team leads to a goal for Arif's side, rekindling hope but at the cost of a player falling into a lava pit. At halftime, Arif discloses a pact he once forged with an alien, granting him latent superpowers activated by breaking bread atop his head. In the second half, he unleashes these powers, propelling his team to a tie score of 9. Victory hangs within reach, but just as they are about to secure it, a pterodactyl seizes one of their players and soars away, subjecting them to taunts from the opposition. A furious Stony attempts to confront them, resulting in an unjust penalty. Fortunately, Dimmy makes a crucial save, but it severely injures his hands, rendering him unable to continue. With the team in dire need of a goalkeeper, Kuhara reluctantly steps up, proving his unimpaired skill by making a series of remarkable saves. As the clock winds down, Arif takes flight, confidently propelling the ball into the net for the winning goal. The entire village erupts in celebration, with Mimi and Stony sharing a kiss. Acknowledging the team's impressive prowess, even his sons, Kaya upholds his end of the bargain, pledging to leave them in peace. Despite their victory, Arif remains somber, having lost precious time. He gifts his watch to Stony and his wedding ring to Mimi, urging them to immortalize his likeness in the caves. Suddenly, a radiant light heralds Ceku's arrival, which has traversed time in search of her beloved. Ceku reveals that Arif's messages and cave paintings have captivated the world, confounding historians. Through extensive research, she understood her husband's predicament. When Logar finally came for her, Ceku confronted him with a gun, compelling his confession. His machine had transported her here. Overjoyed, Arif reclaims the ring and bids farewell to the cavemen, returning to the present with Ceku. In their absence, Logar materializes in their place, swiftly meeting a grim fate as a T-Rex's meal.